They set her up to fail, but Karoline Leavitt's clapback left the host and his panel completely speechless. The studio hums with quiet tension. Cameras roll. The city's skyline glows through the glass windows behind the set. But inside, all eyes are locked on the stage. At the center of it sits Grayson Holt, a name that commands attention in liberal media. His career? Built on razor-sharp monologues, viral takedowns, and the kind of sarcastic confidence that makes his audience cheer and his opponents squirm. Tonight, he's lining up his next target. Across from him, Karoline Leavitt, young, conservative, and, at least in this room, completely out of place. Or so they assume. The panelists flanking Grayson exchange knowing smirks, waiting for the spectacle to begin. He leans back, crossing one leg over the other, fingers tapping against the desk like a drummer counting in the first beat of a performance. "All right, Karoline," he begins, dragging out her name like a teacher humoring a student who just gave the wrong answer. "Let's cut through the fluff. You're young, ambitious, and somehow convinced the Republican Party isn't just a retirement club with better tax breaks. So tell me, are you here to defend outdated policies, or is this just an audition for a Fox News primetime slot?" A low chuckle ripples through the panel. Someone shifts in their seat, amused. This is familiar, Grayson setting the stage for yet another routine takedown. But Leavitt? She doesn't blink. Hands clasped together on the desk, she listens. She waits. She doesn't rush to defend herself. Grayson takes that as an opening. "I mean, let's be real," he continues, adjusting his blazer as if settling in. "Conservatives love parading people like you around, fresh face, camera ready. But at the end of the day, it's the same script. Tax cuts, personal responsibility, some vague nostalgia about the good old days. It's predictable. The only real question is, are you in on the joke?" The camera zooms in. He's smirking. The panelists are watching, barely concealing their amusement. Leavitt tilts her head. Her expression? Unreadable. She's letting him talk, letting him dig, and he has no idea what's coming next. Grayson sees an opportunity. He's been here before, young conservatives stepping onto his show, trying to hold their own, only to crumble under the weight of his sarcasm and experience. So, he pushes harder. "You know, Karoline," he says, drawing out her name again, "I have to admire your confidence. It takes real dedication to be part of a party that, let's be honest, would rather see women in the kitchen than in Congress." The panel erupts in laughter. Even the camera crew chuckles. It's a clean hit. But Leavitt? Still no reaction. Not a twitch. Grayson notices, but convinces himself she's just keeping up a front. He keeps going. "And I have to ask," he continues, feigning curiosity, "do you actually believe what you're saying? Or is this just a long-term grift? You know, say the right things, keep the donors happy, and maybe land a cushy pundit gig when this all falls apart." One of the panelists, a journalist from an online progressive outlet, smirks. "Let's not forget the GOP playbook," she chimes in, shaking her head. "Find someone young, marketable, willing to repeat the same tired policies in a fresh package. Honestly, Karoline, do you ever feel like they're just using you?" Another round of laughter. The rhythm of the attack is picking up. Grayson sees his chance. Time to land the knockout. "I mean, look at your position, Karoline," he says. "You're out here defending a party that fights against diversity initiatives, while parading you around as their youthful, modern face. Do you see the irony? Or are you contractually obligated to ignore it?" The panelist next to him laughs. "Come on, Grayson, don't be mean," they tease. Maybe she actually believes all this. Grayson grins. The audience, the cameras, the viewers at home. Everyone is watching her now, waiting for the inevitable stumble. But Leavitt? She still doesn't blink. Instead, she shifts slightly in her seat, straightens her posture, lets the laughter die out on its own. A full 2 seconds of silence. The energy in the room shifts. This moment, it belongs to her now. Then she exhales, tilts her head, just slightly, and speaks. "Are you finished?" Grayson blinks. It's subtle, but the power just shifted. And no one realizes it yet. The laughter dies faster than Grayson expected. He was sure he had her. The audience had been on his side. The panel had backed him up. So, why does it suddenly feel like he's lost control of the room? Leavitt leans forward slightly, hands still resting on the desk, expression unreadable. She's not flustered, not angry, just certain. Are you finished? She repeats, voice steady. Grayson forces a chuckle, shakes his head. Oh, Karoline, don't get all dramatic, it's just. No, really. She cuts in, tone so calm it's unsettling. Are you finished? Because I want to make sure you get all your little rehearsed jabs out before I respond. The room tightens. Grayson's smirk flickers. The panelists shift. The camera crew, suddenly aware that something real is happening, instinctively adjust their angles. They weren't expecting this. Leavitt tilts her head, not smiling, not frowning, just watching. Then she speaks. See, Grayson, this is what you do. You set people up with smug sound bites, get your panel to laugh, and expect your guests to stumble, get defensive, shrink. And, usually, it works. She leans in slightly. But here's the problem. You didn't do your homework on me. Grayson lets out a dry laugh. Oh, believe me, Karoline. No, you didn't. She interrupts. Voice steady. Because if you had, you'd know I don't fold. And I certainly don't let people like you define me. The room is dead silent. For the first time, Grayson Holt is not in control. And he knows it. The rest of the story follows the same pattern. Grayson struggling, the network panicking, social media exploding. The fallout? Unstoppable. By the next morning, his reputation is hanging in the balance. And Karoline? She's not just a rising name anymore. She's the woman who walked into a hostile room and walked out untouchable.